This is the big dam at Prairie Du Sac. I'm trying to catch a big fish here, but it usually happens after nightfall if I catch anything big. There's always minnows here, as you can see, but the real prize is when the shad comes in after dark. That's when the big fish come in. So we're definitely going to try to catch some bait before. Maybe don't have a minnow trap or anything, plus it's the lower Wisconsin, so you can't use the minnows here, but you can use the shad here. But plenty of bait fish, probably plenty of bigger fish. Might cut up a bluegill beforehand, just tons and tons of minnows here. But we're looking for the shad, not the minnows. So let's get our baits in the water and see what we can get. I'm gonna launch this thing out into the water, a little bit deeper. Hopefully I don't get too much in the current, because then it carries that way. That should be good. The water's not too shallow. The water's not shallow, not deep right now. That should be enough to attract a fish, especially later on in the day. It is very hot right now, so I'm not really sure if that's going to attract anything right now, but later on it should attract something. Let's see if there's anything decent close to shore with my Zebco and the Bobby Garland. The reverse current's much stronger than I had anticipated here. I'm not really sure if there's anything in the shallows at this particular time. I might need a lure that can toss much further out. And the Bobby Garland with its light weight, even though I can get it about maybe 20 yards out, 15-20 yards out, it's not a good, extremely good option for me. I think I need to get it quite a bit further out, like within the rocks on the flow end or something. I think the fish now in mid-afternoon are still very deep. Yeah, it's not going to be deep enough, I don't think. There's a lot of minnows here, so the Bobby Garland should actually attract some attention, hopefully. Got a fish. It's fighting. Did I lose it? Nope, it's still there. So I think it's a bluegill though. Caught plenty of decent sized gills here. Oh, that's a fatty. That's a fat bluegill. I don't know, maybe 8-9 inches? It's a fat bluegill. I'm not gonna use them as bait. I'm gonna see if I can catch a smaller one. That is a fat bluegill. Nice fat bluegill, about 8.5 inches. Having trouble getting past 9 this year on bluegills, but I think the biggest ones I've caught, the bluegillish fish, are actually like around the Fox River Park, but this one's about 8.5, probably like half a pound or so. Pretty nice. All right, Mr. Bluegill is gonna go back in the water and try to catch a smaller one for a bait, but pretty good bluegill. I'll see ya. I think it's shocked right now in the water. Oh, there he goes, back in the water. So we're gonna keep throwing the curly-tailed grub out too. I've never actually caught a fish here casting this way. All my fish here have basically been caught bottom rigging, so it'll be interesting if I can see if I can catch a bigger fish this way. I know there are skis here, but skis are kind of rare to catch, and I don't know if they go for a big curly-tailed grub, honestly. But it'd be interesting if they went for one. I know buffaloes go for this, carp will go for this, and so will a lot of other fish. If I catch a smaller bluegill, I'll probably use it as cut bait, because I do want to toss a cut bait further out there and see if anything grabs it. I know there are big flatheads here, I know there's big channels here, but they're generally kind of like in that hole in the middle of the dam, which I can't reach obviously, so maybe at night they will come more to the shore area. We got another one. This one looks pretty strong as well. This one might be a bigger one. No, it's still gill. Gills are quite strong for their size, they just don't grow very big. Yeah, they're all about the same size. This one's even fatter. This one's even fatter. Panfish Mania. This one might be deep hooked though. But 2 gills so far, both about 8.5 inches. I don't know why that one over there hasn't gotten a bite. It might just be that they're directly out here. We'll see. Got a little bit of sand on him, but he'll be fine. Alright, I don't know if there are any bigger ones here, but we're sure gonna try. I want to catch a smaller one to use as live bait. Those are a little too big. It would take a pretty big channel to annihilate that bait. A fish that size. And a flathead could easily eat it, but not really sure. I don't think the flats are really going to come out until like 8 or 9 at least, and probably later at Prairie Du Sac, if they come out at all. And walleye do eat bluegills, but they need to be a little bit smaller, so hopefully I can get like a 5 or 6 inch one, maybe even a 4 inch. I got another fish, but I don't think it's a bluegill. It's a little heavy to be a bluegill. Yeah, that's not a bluegill. Is that a gato fish? What is that? It's a bowfin. That is the first bowfin I've actually caught here. All right, I'll take it. Nice bowfin. Definitely got a lot more strength than a bluegillish fish here, but that is a bowfin. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. I didn't know bowfins usually are in pretty stagnant water, so I'm a little bit surprised, but I'll take a bowfin. It's a very nice fish. Let's reel it in. Let's reel it in. Nice bowfin there. Very, very nice bowfin. It's not big though. It's not a big fin, but it is a bowfin. Look at that, we got a bowfin. A dogfish. Well, there it goes. Didn't really get it too much on video, but we just let the bowfin go. All right, let's toss this worm bait out there. Maybe we'll get another fish. I know, catfish, bowfin, carp, drum. Got like a bit of everything else out there. And this seems to be a pretty good place to toss. I think I picked up something decent in size, my tiny little hook. Now that I look at it though, it might just be a gill. It felt bigger than that. It's a drum. It's a smaller drum. Not quite bait size, but freshwater drum for today. Freshwater drum. Not too bad. Not what I want, but another fish. Another species though. Third species of the day. Starting to get busy here. Freshwater drum, kind of a small one. Still want one slightly smaller to use as bait, but not a bad fish, a freshwater drum. All right, drum, go back home. Does a flip back in the water and goes home. A lot of big fish jumping way out there. I have no idea what they are though. Maybe buffalo? It's gonna be hard to catch buffalo. But yeah, let's keep trying. If we throw it out in the rapids, eventually we'll catch a walleye or a white bass or something with this, hopefully. This one's slightly smaller. Been catching too many of these and they're probably gonna take all my bait, so I'm just gonna use this guy as bait. No, don't use me as bait. Yes, we're gonna use you as bait. All right, Timmy's like a 8-inch gill, so I'm gonna walk as far as I can in here and then throw the 8-inch gill in as far as possible, and hopefully Mr. Flathead will be hungry. Because if Mr. Flathead isn't hungry, then nothing's gonna eat this thing. This thing's big. Maybe a pike, but generally Mr. Flathead. It's like a half-pound bait. All right, massive fish time. It's not very deep to say. It's probably like only 3-4 foot, but maybe there'll be a massive fish of doom that wants it. Can't be a small walleye. It has to be a massive walleye if it wants to eat that bait. Dude over there caught this drum. He got deep hooked. It's gonna die, so we're gonna cut him. All right, we got a huge chunk of that drum on with some guts. Gonna toss it out in the flow and see what we can do with it. It would take about a 10-pound fish to eat this, so hopefully we can get something good. I want a big fish. I've never actually caught anything above 5, and the 5 I caught here was like a walleye, which is a nice fish, but I want a 20-pounder. I think I finally got something with a casting. That is definitely a fish, doesn't feel big, but I got something with a casting finally. I think it's a walleye probably, by looking at, nope, it's a drum. It's a small one. Oh no, it's a white bass, white bass. Not bad, a white bass. All right, nice white bass. Bit something a little too big for it, but if there's white bass here, I might want to switch over to smaller bait, but nice little white bass here. Definitely a nice little white bass here. Looky here, a white bass. Not a big one, but still a decent white bass. First thing I ever caught casting at Prairie Du Sac. Not a bad fish. Yeah, let's let this guy go, and off he goes. Off and it darts. Since we know that there's white bass here, let's switch to a smaller Rapala type thing. This one goes deeper too. I just hope I don't lose it in the snags, but that actually would be okay, I guess, because I haven't really caught anything with this. And hopefully we can get something with this. It's a pretty decent fish bait, so maybe if white bass are here, they'll bite it. If not, we will just switch back to the flicker minnow, because that seems to work pretty well across a variety of things. Getting into dusk and sunset, something keeps tapping one of my little cut bait, but doesn't take it. And I guess it's like smaller walleye. A big walleye would actually take that hook. And I do think I'll catch some walleye later tonight. But I really, really want something to own that bluegill. If something owns that bluegill, It's gonna be a big fish. All right, there's something on this. I think it's probably a gar. But if it is a gar, I don't mind hooking one and bringing one up because I haven't really brought one up yet. I think it's, nope, it's a drum. Ah, it's hoping to be something else, but it is a freshwater drum. Oh man. It's hoping to use like some of the worms and stuff to get a gar or something new, but a freshwater drum it is. Out of batteries almost on my light, but I have another fish. Is it another drum? Is that a drum? Oh no, it's a sturgeon. Oh, okay. It's a tiny little sturgeon, but an ancient fish of doom. An ancient fish of doom. Very small sturgeon though. Ah, smallest one I've ever caught actually. The ancient fish of doom. All right, we finally got another fish. It's a lake sturgeon, but it's a very, very small one. The ancient fish of doom. This ancient fish of doom wants to go back. And it's only very small, so there you go. Ancient fish of doom is very confused, wants to come on shore, but obviously you can't walk on land, so we're gonna just give it a tug. And yes, it goes back into the water. Very nice. Very nice. Small lake sturgeon. That was a pretty fun trip to Prairie Du Sac. Caught 5 different species. Didn't get the massive fish. I will have to say on the fishing report, the shad have not started to come in yet. That will probably happen later on in July, probably into August and September. And that's when the real fun starts at Prairie Du Sac. That's also when all the big walleye come in as well, and some of the catfish. I don't know if the big flatheads ever come shallow to feed at Prairie Du Sac. I've never caught one of them, but I have caught channels and I've caught big walleyes there. But right now is not the time of the season. Only the small minnows come in and not the big shad. So I'm going to go back there when the shad actually come in. Also, I saw a lot of gars and bowfins in the shallows at night. And a lot of the things that bit my bait were probably gar, which is why they never actually hooked. But the walleye looks like they're not quite there yet. There's some white bass in the shallows, but not too many. But once the shad come in, I think the game changes. So I'm gonna have to give wait for about 4 more weeks on Prairie Du Sac, probably go there back there like next month or sometime in August. And I think that's probably the optimum time to fish Prairie Du Sac. Right now, it is still a little too early. But I do think Lake Wisconsin or maybe even the VFW ramp is probably better than Prairie Du Sac. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I'll be back next time.